Welcome everyone. This is the Indian Express of 10th October 2022. I will explain this newspaper in 3 steps. First is why is the news? Second is what is the news? And third is what can we expect in the future about the topic that is given in the news. So let's get started with the first news, which is big infra ministries push the pedal in capital spending in the first 5 months. So why is this news? Because in every budget year there is a specific budget that is allocated to every ministry. Then it is on the ministry that at how much speed they want to spend it. They want to spend it fast, which means they want to spend a lot of part of the budget in just 5 months, or they want to spend more in the later months. So this is an estimate of 5 months from April to August. So what are the findings? That big infrastructure ministries, railways, road transport and highways, these have recorded a fast pace of spending in the first 5 months of the current financial year. So these ministries have spent in a fast speed. Now spending pattern is that bulk of it was capex, which means capital expenditure was the bulk part, which means that expenditure. What is capex? Capex is an expenditure that result in new asset creation or improving the quality of existing one. So it is, you can call it is investing in creating new assets. For example, investing in machines, investing in buildings, investing in road, also to improve the quality of existing assets. So most of the spending was in capital expenditure. So talking about railways, 85,279 crore was utilized by the railway this year, and out of 85,279 crore, 67,244, which is 79% of this 85,000, 79% was spent in capital. And what about road transport and highways? 95% of the 1.15 lakh crore in the first 5 months was capital expenditure. So railways spent 79% on capital expenditure, and road transport spent 95%. What about other ministries? We'll see in the next page that other ministries, at least 10 ministries or department, could not spend even a tenth of total funds allocated to them for the full year, which means some ministries are spending 50% plus, 58%, 59%, 66%, but some ministries are there that have not spent at least 10% of their total fund allocated. And what are these ministries? These ministries are Ministry of Tourism, Civil Aviation, Ministry of Development and Development of Northeast Region, Petroleum Natural Gas Ministry, Cooperation Ministry, Skill Development Entrepreneurship Ministry, Women and Child Development Ministry, Fishery, Animal Husbandry, Dairying Ministry, Food Processing Industry, the New and Renewable Energy Ministry. They have spent less than 10% of the total funds allocated to them. What is the advisory by the Union Ministry of Finance? Union Ministry of Finance say that in order to improve the quality of expenditure, you should not rush to expend all money at a sudden. You should divide that money in a monthly basis. So they say, they advises in fact all departments to spread their spending throughout the year. Spread it month wise. You have to decide what is the money that you are going to utilize every single month. Instead of bunching it at the end. Now this rush of expenditure that ministries certainly do in the end months, or you can call particularly in the closing months of the financial year, this shall be regarded as a breach of financial property, and this shall be avoided by the ministries. This is the advisory by Ministry of Finance. But as we can see, at least 10 ministries have not spent even a tenth of total funds. So what can we expect in the future? A major push, a major push from Union Ministry of Finance to these ministries in order to spend more in the coming months. Now coming to next page is the city page. Then more of city page. Coming to next news, here most of the news is politics. You see, this is not going to come in exam. Then comes Express Network. Here one news is important and it is written in a very short manner. Just one single line is important here. We're not going to read irrelevant news here. So India UK free trade agreement talks face deadlock over data. The report. Why is this news? Because India and UK were trying to at least have an agreement based on free trade. Till when? Till Diwali this year, this Diwali 2022. But it now has a deadlock, which means it now has a problem. So what is the problem? Data localization rules, and second problem is that UK wants its firm to bid for public sector contracts. Two things are the problem. First is data localization rule. What is data localization rule? This rule prevents foreign companies taking data out of India. You cannot take data of Indian citizens out of our country. This is data localization. Then second problem is that UK wants that whatever public sector the India has, UK firms, UK companies must have the right to bid for it, to claim for its ownership in exchange of money. This is called bidding. These are the two sticking points. India does not want this to deal. So these are the sticking point to comprehensive deal, because first, privacy is in threat, data localization, and second, again, economy is in threat if UK firms are allowed for bidding in public sector. What is the UK's done? Department for International Trade reiterated the government's stand that any free trade agreement would be agreed only if it meets UK's interest. So you see, both sides have a deadlock. India does not want its privacy to be breached, and UK does not want its interest to be gone. So that is why there is an issue between India and UK's free trade agreement. What can we expect in the future? So India is not going to compromise on its privacy either way. UK can think of it. We can only expect India to be firm in its privacy and respect of its citizens' money in terms of economy. So we cannot determine right now what will happen. It can be only followed in the upcoming newspaper. Now coming to next page is idea exchange page. Here most news is particular. Coming to economy page, we have one news. Online gaming sector, what are the proposed rules to regulate it? So this is news which is important. Why is this news? Because since 1 year there has been a lot of buzz regarding online gaming and its consequences on public. A lot of suicide cases have come, plus money breach, which means theft of people's money in terms of these online games have come. So now government is trying to regulate this segment of industry. So what it is doing, it is creating a creation of a central regulatory body for the sector. So one body will be created that will do what? That will define what are the games of skill. So some games are based on skill. You have to practice a lot and then play. And there are some games that are purely based on probability or chance. So this will be clearly defined by this body. Also, bringing online game under the purview of Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002 among other things, because a lot of suspicious transactions have been noticed in these online gaming. So that is why it will be the duty of these entities to report any suspicious transactions. Now, why a central level law? Because online gaming is a state subject. But problem is that the state government find it extremely difficult to enforce certain rules. For example, geo-blocking certain apps or websites within the territory of their state. So they find it difficult to block these apps based on geographical area. Also, if one state passed a rule, it is not applicable in any other state, and that causes inconsistency in how the online gaming industry is regulated in the country. So one state can be strict, but other is not strict. This causes an inconsistency. Overall protection is not given. Also, state government do not have enough blocking power. For example, Central Government of India blocked many Chinese apps during the Galwan clashes 2020 because central government has the blocking power to block the apps of Chinese based industry. But the state governments do not have enough blocking power like the China to issue blocking orders for offshore betting sites, which means those betting websites that are located outside India, for example Chinese apps and betting sites. Now there is currently no regulatory framework to govern various aspects of online gaming. So a lot of features, aspects of online gaming are there which are not regulated. There is no such framework to govern these aspects. What are these aspects? For example, grievance redressal mechanism, which means if a person has a complaint, if a person has faced threat or has faced theft or breach of its privacy or money, then who he can approach for his redressal or for his own problem solving. So there is no grievance redressal mechanism. Also, there is no player protection measures. There is no protection of data, intellectual property rights, and also there is no such agency that can prohibit misleading advertisements. There are a lot in the market. You may have seen you can earn this much money, lakhs of money from the online gaming, but actually in fact I'll give you example, they give you nothing. They write you can win this much of cash, but they write cash with a star in upper side of this cash, and in a star it is written it is super cash. So it is not the real money that they will give you. They will give you just a sense of money, but not the money you can use it at any other sector or for any other use. They give you super cash. So this is a misleading advertisement. People fall for this advertisement and they lose a lot of money. They lose real cash, but they get what? They get super cash. This is a pure misleading advertisement. So in order to curb this advertisement problem, this state central government has now banked up to form a body which is regulated by center. So now how big is the online gaming market? Revenue of the Indian mobile gaming industry is expected to exceed $1.5 billion in 2022, and it is estimated to reach $5 billion in 2025. So you can see by the money how big is this industry. Now what will be the coming rules? What can we expect? We can expect that any online gaming platform, whether it is based on India or whether it is outside India, which means whether it is domestic or foreign, if this gaming platform is offering real money online games to Indian users, if it is based on real money, then it will need to be a legal entity incorporated under Indian law, which means it has to have a certificate. It has to prove its legality. Now, these platforms will also be treated as reporting entities. These platforms, which are using real money, they will report to the government under this Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002, and will be required to report what? Report suspicious transactions to the Financial Intelligence Unit of India. So these own entities, they will report the government what is happening in their own apps or websites. So what can we expect in the future? A more tighter and strict law. We hope that there must be a dispute resolution mechanism. For example, we have seen this in IT rules 2021, where it is where they have in fact grievance redressal mechanism, and also there must be a committee that must be led by government for solving the problem of online gaming. Next come the world news. Today there is no such news of world, only accidents are there, most of the news. So this comes an end to the newspaper. Now you can read this newspaper by yourself as well.